Lord have mercy, it's a Murciélago, and it has quite a list of little things to fix on it. Let's take a look. You guys have seen this Lamborghini in the shop a few times in the past. There's multiple videos on it. It's owned by Leo, who also owns that Corvette back there, the 30th anniversary collector's edition Corvette. Once a year he brings this in with a list of things he'd like to tackle. He's not really interested in tearing his whole car apart and let it sit for a whole year while waiting on parts. He usually picks 5 or 6 items per year and says, let's do those, and then I want to drive the car and enjoy it. So it's here for a list of items. We're able to save him quite a bit of money on this trip, at least on a few items. Right now it looks like a hovercraft because it has no wheels on it. It's on jack stands. Some of the things we're going to be sending off for restoration are going to take a long time. I do not want this sitting on a lift for 5 and 6 and 7 weeks. So that's why it is on 4 jack stands. Let's go ahead and take a look around this thing. It's beautiful. So there is a bull on the emblem on the front, but it actually looks like a pit viper or a snake or something. The way that the eyes are and the mouth, and looks like it's about to bite you. It is a beautiful, beautiful car. I really like the color. This one's in very good shape. He's had this thing for quite a while. As we go around to the side, you can see that the wheels are off. We're going to take a look at those and do a comparison. There's our brakes, and you can see in the wheel well we have the front shocks off, and it looks like what's red transmission fluid or some kind of fluid in a pan there. That's because these vehicles have front lift where they can actually lift the front end up to go over speed bumps and things. As we come around to the back, you can see inside the wheel well it has twin shocks. 2 yellow shocks, you can see. Twin springs, twin shocks on that particular wheel. So this is another scenario of people saying, when's the last time this Lamborghini's had a tire rotation? If somebody asks you that when you're selling your Lamborghini to them, they probably should not be owning your car. Take a look at this, guys. Does it look like you could rotate those tires? The rear tire is way wider than the front tire. It almost makes the front tire look like a spare tire, way small. Huge difference in front and rear. That's for traction. Obviously there's a lot of power going to the rear wheels. One of my favorite angles of the Murciélago is the rear. I really think that these tail lights and everything are beautiful. If you see the previous videos in this car, you'll see that these were actually like tinted black almost. And the owner said, I want it back stock. It was disgusting looking. I want it where I can see the colors of the lenses. He had someone take care of that for him. We did remove the tail lamps for him, and he sent it off and had that done, and it turned out very nice. And thinking of power, let's hop under the rear hood. There is our 6.2 liter V12 with 4 throttle bodies. 1 for every 3 cylinders. They're actually not super hard to work on, but they're not fun if you have to pull the engine out. It's quite a big teardown. Everything behind this mesh is where the exhaust is. You would think, oh, there's the transmission back here, but it's not. The transmission actually sits between the passenger and the driver. It sits in backwards. This entire area in the rear of the car is filled with exhaust pipes and things. We're not doing any major engine work or anything serious to this car this time around. We've taken care of a lot of those things in the past. We're doing a lot of cosmetic things this time, and also a few suspension items. We did replace these hood struts here. These are brand new. The old ones wouldn't even hold the hood up. It was actually kind of dangerous. You don't want this dropping and cracking and breaking. It could be thousands and thousands of dollars to replace it. So I will go ahead and put that back down. This little triangular portion here can actually raise up when the engine gets hot enough. It lets more air in for the oil cooler and radiator and things of that nature. Air actually goes in through here. It's almost like the wings of a beetle or a bug or something. It'll actually raise each side up. It's very cool. Right here is where you put the fuel. One thing he was concerned about is the front trunk lid was misaligned. These lines right here were not the same from one side to the other. They are now because Magic Mike went through and actually did some alignment on it. But these two sides are almost touching, but yet on the driver's side there was a very huge gap. Not sure why it was that way. Maybe it could have been even assembled that way. But I'll go ahead and show you how we did that. Also new struts there. That's why it popped up so fast. You can loosen those little screws there, and it gives you a little bit of adjustment, a little bit of leeway from side to side. We were able to get the body lines to line up perfectly, and it turned out very nice. This little tray here is actually on some hinges, and the hinges were disconnected for whatever reason when he bought it. He actually had the hinges and he gave them to us to reinstall, and now it works again. So you can put things in here just like he's done there and set it back down. It's real easy to get down in there. The headlights have an issue. They fog up a little bit, especially if it's real humid outside after he's been driving for a while. We're going to be removing them. He's going to send them off. There's somewhere that can do some small minor modifications. I'm not really tempted to do any modifications to these because they're glass and they cost $8,000 per headlight if they were to break. I'm not exactly interested in experimenting on $8,000 headlights. I will remove them, which means the entire bumper has to come off to get these out, the front bumper being, and he'll take care of setting those off and get that taken care of. Let's take a look in the interior real quickly, and then I got some things on the carts to show you guys. Let me get the door for you, Mrs. Wizard. And as Tyler says, when your doors go up like that, that means you've made it in life. In the interior, Mrs. Wizard's going to show you guys around real quick. You can see a whole bunch of things have been disassembled. This door panel is missing. We are doing some interior upholstery work and also some radio work.
Okay, ladies and gents, this is going to be a very quick little tour for us today because there's a lot of stuff, well, not included right now because he's got it removed. But there's our gauge cluster. It looks really nice. We can't turn it on right now because too many things are disconnected and things like that. So we don't know what the exact mileage is, but he tells me very low. As we look up here, everything looks really good except for right here. Some of that leather is pulling back. That is one issue that the Wizard is going to be addressing for Leo. But as we move around, everything else is looking really nice. It's a nice dark charcoal gray leather. Everything's looking perfect. We get down to our radio but if you've never looked inside the dash, there you go. You've ever wondered what's in there? There you go. Lots of, cords, cables, and connectors. Got a little bit of a grab bar here for our passenger. And again, our lovely, just stainless steel gated shifter that looks absolutely beautiful. If we move to our center console, we've got a lovely little hidey hole that seems to want to play a musical instrument as well. Nothing in there, but a nice little, very shallow little spot. But it holds nicely leather wrapped. As we look at the passenger seat there, this has some nice bolster. It definitely, look how deep that seat is. But since there's no steering wheel to hold to, they have given us that grab bar that I mentioned just a second ago. If we look over there on the floor, lots of interior pieces that have been taken off that are going to get shipped off to get reupholstered. The door panel on this side does look really nice. Nice white stitching, a light gray, a dark gray, looks really good. We're going to get to the driver's side and see that it's not quite the same over there. There's no back seat. They don't pretend on here. There's no back seat. It's a Lamborghini. It's you and the passenger, and that's it. One thing that is interesting is that the seatbelt for the passenger does emanate from the center. So you're used to reaching to that door, but no, you reach to the center to put the seatbelt on in a Lamborghini. It's hard to see back there, but you do get a little view of the engine back there, and you probably see it a whole lot better if this was outside with the sun shining down on the actual area. So this is where when the customer comes in and they're like, oh my gosh, what's going on with my Lamborghini? Yeah, this is where it gets a little scary. Look at that. Now can claim you have seen the interior of a Lamborghini door. Isn't that just phenomenal? So a lot of scary stuff here, but a lot is going to get taken care of, get fixed, and when he gets it back from that upholstery, it's going to look so, so nice. here we are at the steering wheel where we end up. We do have a lovely bowl in the center there. I guess our Murciélago is there. The small steering wheel, nothing fancy going on here. We got the airbag, we've got horn spots, and two really nice spots to grip that steering wheel, so you can definitely go around those corners and really enjoy this car. So enough of this interior talk. Let's see if I can get out of this thing, considering it's on jack stands. Wizard, help.
So we have a few interior panels out. We're also going to be removing the hood that goes around the instrument cluster. We have shocks off, we have speakers out. The radio has actually been removed. It's being sent to my buddy in Florida who does a lot of electrical repair for us. And keep in mind, you guys have asked to get a hold of him. He has mentioned he only works for professional businesses, not for individuals. He's not interested. He actually told me, he says, I do not want to work for individuals, only for businesses. So, he's going to install Bluetooth inside the stock radio, and we'll put it back in, and it'll be completely stock, but he'll be able to use Bluetooth off his phone and play music through his Lamborghini radio. So that's why the radio has been removed. Let's go ahead and move over to the carts. I have a lot of really cool things to show you guys. So here's the door panel you guys have seen removed. We have the speaker removed, which I'm going to show you here in a little bit, but this part of the door panel actually has some little pinholes in it. And Leo has mentioned he doesn't even remember how those happened. What? That looks like a chemical was dropped on them. That looks like a little dot, like they're impressions. But what happened doesn't really matter. He just wants to have it redone. He doesn't need the entire door panel done, just this piece. You can see it fits right here. He asked, is it possible to separate the two? And luckily on a Lamborghini Murciélago it is. There's lots of little holes here where these bolts and nuts and things go. You can actually separate this piece. Leo knows a guy that can reupholster these with OEM Lamborghini leather. Not aftermarket or something that's similar, but the actual true Lamborghini leather, which smells so good. I wish you guys could smell the interior of that car. It is so nice. I just need to remove the pieces and parts, and also like the hood that I showed you where the leather is peeling from age. We're going to send those off and have them reupholstered. But the next thing I want to show you guys is the speaker situation on these door panels. Okay, so here's our original speaker. The foam surround is destroyed. And the cone, I don't know if it's damaged. You can see that some of this is peeling away here. And really, he just wanted to look at some new speakers, getting it replaced. We got in contact with AMH Exotics and also contacted a few other places, and the speaker set for this car is over $1,000 just for some speakers. And you can look at the old one. It's not a fancy schmancy Kenwood or an Alpine speaker. It's just a basic factory speaker for $1,000. Leo was like, Car Wizard, is there any aftermarket options? I want it to have that orangish color through the grille. I want it to look like it's stock, but not spend $1,000. Let me grab this box over here and show you what I found. Here we have Audiobank, which is not a name brand like JBL or Kenwood or something like that. But I guarantee they're going to sound as good, if not better, than the stock speakers. And look, they match the factory color almost exactly. Where else are you going to find that at? So let me show you what Magic Mike did here to actually make this all work. This is the new aftermarket speakers, which actually came with kind of a three-way setup, but you're able to unscrew these and remove them if you don't want to use them. Then we removed the dome from this speaker and re-adhered it to this speaker. And now I'll kind of show you it with the original speakers. There's kind of an orange cone that you can see. And Leo was like, I really want to see the orange. I want to emulate the original color, so anyone that sits in the car, they can look and say, that looks original. And look, guys, almost identical in color and even appearance. And luckily, this aluminum ring is the original Lamborghini ring. It fits perfectly on the OEM speaker. We were able to solder in also the original connector. and it will fit right here in the door panel with the screen on, and it'll look like original brand new speakers. I was able to get these speakers for like $100 or less. I don't remember the exact price. 1,000 versus 100, and it looks identical. What would you do? Let's go take a look at this door panel. Actually, it's fully assembled. Let's take a look and see what it looks like. So as you can see, this one's fully installed and fully functional, and it looks like the real deal for 90% off. Can't complain, guys. Here we have the original front shocks, which I mentioned have the lift capability. You can see where the hydraulic line threads in right there. These are Coney shocks. There are no new ones. Let me reiterate that. There are no new ones. They don't make these anymore. Leo knows a guy that rebuilds these. They haven't blown yet, but they are known when you go to use the lift function, they'll blow out and just spill fluid all over the place. It makes a huge mess. Before that happens, Leo said, let's go ahead and remove those shocks. I'll send them to my guy and get them rebuilt, and then you guys can put them back on. So that's why these are off. You can see they're electronically adjustable. They also have the feature to lift the car up in the air over speed bumps and things. And lastly, these are the sway bar bushings on the rear sway bar. He mentioned when he goes over bumps, it's clunking and making a lot of noise. All the years I've been working on cars, I've always known sway bar bushings to be rubber or polyurethane. These are actually Teflon, and they're very thin shells. It's really strange. It just fits in there like that and goes over the sway bar. Luckily, my guy at AMH is able to get those, just the shells, and we'll be able to get those replaced and take care of his clunking noise. So right now is the perfect time to take care of a lot of these cosmetic issues because it's going to be sitting a long time on these jack stands. When you send things off like this to be rebuilt, they don't do it in a day or two. It takes weeks sometimes. While these other things are being taken care of, Leo's like, hey, let's go ahead and address this and this. Actually got a list of more things than what I've just shown you. But a lot of them are just simple, very, very simple fixes. This is definitely worth keeping in excellent shape. The values of these have risen greatly. I think for what he paid for it till now, he has doubled his money in value. This is an early 2003 with the 6-speed manual. Very, very desirable. Also very beautiful. Thinking about these Murciélagos, I have a friend named Cameron who's actually Ed Bolian's mechanic of VinWiki. You guys know Ed Bolian from Car Trek and VinWiki and various other things, a Cannonball. He has his own shop in the Atlanta area, actually in Alpharetta. And he's been taking on a lot of Murciélagos, Aventadors, all kinds of really sweet cars. He's a Mercedes guru, like top level Mercedes guru. Not just a wizard, he's like above a wizard as far as Mercedes-Benz is concerned. But he's taken on lots of other cars, and he's very, very good at what he does. He has multiple mechanics. There's actually in the description below a link to his shop and also to his YouTube channel. There's a lot of informative videos on there you guys could watch. He dives in deep, just like we do here. He gets Mercedes problems that's been to 3, 4, 5 different shops. No one can figure out what's wrong. There are thousands of dollars into it. It's still not fixed. He is the guy in the Atlanta area that takes care of that once and for all for you. Check out the description below. All that information's there for you. Too bad this thing is all in pieces. I would love to start this thing up and let you guys hear it. It sounds so good. It's amazing. It's a beautiful car. If you're curious what kind of tools we've used to do a lot of the work on this car, or really any of the cars in the shop, check my Amazon affiliates link in the description below. We get a small cut and really appreciate it. Make sure to hit the subscribe button because there's Ferrari videos coming. There's a lot of really cool videos coming. Thanks for watching.